Yeah, can you guys hear me now? Can you confirm if you can hear me now? Yeah, alright, so I'll just take your word for it. I hope it works this time. काफ़ी टाइम ज़ाया हो गया, I'm really sorry about that. 1 घंटा लग गया इस चक्कर में. क्या करें, टेक्नोलॉजी चैलेंज है हम लोग. Alright, where's the question? Yes. Alright, so what we'll do is we will go through this worksheet. This is basically all the papers from last 4 or 5 years, and we are going to go through that. Okay, so this is 2021 का paper 4-2 में हम जाएंगे, and this is titration questions, और 2021, yeah. Hold on, I have the list here somewhere. Okay, before we get into that, any questions that you guys have, any particular thing you want to ask me about? Guys, this is not a discussion about Barca. Okay, let's just focus on things that we need to know. अच्छा जी. So couple of things, for example ये 4 gases हैं, आपसे वो गैसेस के टेस्ट पूछ सकते हैं, तो आपको ये चीज़ें एटीपी से याद करनी है. सो एटीपी के लिए क्या करना है कि उसमें तो आपको नोट्स मिले होंगे ना, बट यहाँ पे आपको नोट्स अवेलेबल नहीं है. सो एटीपी में हमारे पास गैस टेस्ट हैं, हमारे पास कैटायंस और एनायंस के टेस्ट हैं. सो फॉर दोज आई वुड सजेस्ट कि हमारे पास एक वीडियो है, थिंग्स यू मस्ट मेमोराइज और थिंग्स यू नीड टू मेमोराइज इन ओ लेवल्स. Go through that video, 40-50 minutes की वीडियो है, and it contains everything that's there. अगर आपके पास टाइम नहीं है, so go through that video, then what you can do instead is that you can go to the fact sheet that I've created. You just go to my website ahmedbokhari.com and you will go to chemistry, और वहाँ पे आपको fact sheet मिल जाएगी. So it's very important that you go through that fact sheet. I've updated it for this year, so there's a couple of new things there, but I would suggest that you do go through that so that you are clearly at the same at the same level that you are supposed to be. All right, so with that done, I hope you guys have opened the question paper that I've shared with you. What I've done is, hold on, what happened here? Yeah, so what I've done is I've rearranged the questions in terms of increasing years so that you're able to go through those questions differently. These are must do questions for this year. Okay, you still can't hear me? Please check your mic. I think my mic is working because I just verified sound is going through. All right. Okay, so let's go through the questions. So right now what I have is paper 620 Feb March. Okay. सो इनमें से इस पेपर में अगर मैं आपको कहूँ कि इसमें कौन सा क्वेश्चन इंपॉर्टेंट है, सो दैट इज क्वेश्चन नंबर 4 एंड वन पार्ट ऑफ क्वेश्चन नंबर 5. सो लेट्स गो टू दैट. सो इन क्वेश्चन नंबर 4, here's the question. A student wanted to make zinc chloride crystal. Okay, now it's a crystal, that means it's a soluble salt. ठीक है, soluble salt बनाने के हमारे पास कितने मेथड हैं, मैं साथ साथ आपको ये रिव्यू भी कराता जाऊंगा. soluble salt बनाने के हमारे पास, अगेन ये एटीपी का क्वेश्चन है, पेपर 2 में या पेपर 4 में आया है. ठीक है, and yes, all the topics that I do, all the questions that I do, they will be relevant to both O levels and IGCSE, so it's very important that you go through all of those. Okay, so how many methods do you need to know to make salt? Now salt में क्या होता है, कैटाइन होता है, एनाइन होता है. ठीक है, it all comes down to आपका कैटाइन कहाँ से आ रहा है, एनाइन कहाँ से आ रहा है. That's what you have to see. So हमारे पास अगर कैटाइन है तो वो कहाँ से आएगा, वो मेटल से आएगा. कैटाइन हमारे पास मेटल्स कार्बोनेट से आएगा. कैटन हमारे पास मेटल हाइड्रोक्साइड से आएगा, ठीक है, या मेटल ऑक्साइड से आएगा, ठीक है. These are the four methods that you have. Now all of these are solid except for snap. Snap salts क्या होते हैं? Snap salts are sodium, nitrate, ammonium, potassium. ये वो salts हैं जो कि हमेशा soluble होते हैं. So अगर ये बनाना है तो ये तो titration होगी, ठीक है. तो उसमें हमें acid और alkali चाहिए, which means कि alkali ये तीनों होंगे. Metal use नहीं करेंगे हम. क्यों नहीं करेंगे? कर तो सकते हैं. Because it will be dangerous, highly exothermic, explosive reaction. That's why we will not do that. अच्छा, अगर हमें ये नहीं करना, then what do we have to do? Then we have to see if the salt is soluble or insoluble. If the salt is soluble, then you will take any of these in excess, provided the metal is more reactive than hydrogen. ठीक है, अब ये क्या बात हुई? Because if it is more reactive than hydrogen, तो metal react नहीं करेगा. Less reactive than hydrogen, तो metal react नहीं करेगा. For example, copper चाहिए हमें या गोल्ड चाहिए, तो मेटल विल नॉट रिएक्ट. दीज थ्री विल बी यूजफुल, ठीक है. सो दैट मीन्स आपके पास यहां से आपके पास मेटल का कैटाइन आ गया. और एनएन कहां से आएगा? यूजुअली एनएन कम्स फ्रॉम द एसिड दैट यू हैव. सही है. तो हमें आज आके बात क्या हुई कि एक्सेस ऑफ कैटाइन सब्सटेंस या कॉम्पाउंड, ठीक है, प्लस रेलेवेंट एसिड दैट यू हैव टू डू. ओके, सो यहां पे इनमें से हम पिक कर लेते हैं. हमें बनाना था जिंक क्लोराइड, ठीक है. सो जिंक क्लोराइड बनाने के लिए हमें जिंक मेटल चाहिए बिकॉज इट्स मोर रिएक्टिव देन हाइड्रोजन, सो इट विल वर्क. अदरवाइज जिंक क्लोराइड, जिंक ब्रोमाइड, जिंक हाइड्रोक्साइड, जिंक ऑक्साइड, जिंक कार्बोनेट, ऑल ऑफ दोज इन एक्सेस विद रेलेवेंट एसिड जो कि HCl बनता है. सो हम एसिड को यूज कर लेंगे. नाउ व्हाट शुड बी इन एक्सेस? एक्सेस का क्वेश्चन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. If the salt is soluble, then you take the solid part in excess. If the salt is insoluble, you take the aqueous part in excess. ठीक है, हमारे पास बाद में फिल्टर करके उनको सेपरेट करना होता है, which is why this is going to be useful. अच्छा, इसने क्या किया? Excess zinc powder to dilute HCl, ठीक है, उसने metal plus acid लिया to form aqueous zinc chloride. बन गया हमारे पास soluble solution तैयार है. Okay, next step. Remove unreacted zinc powder. कैसे किया होगा? Filtration से किया होगा, ठीक है, filtration. और कैसे उसने किया होगा? ये चीज जो सॉल्ट है, दिस विल बी इन द फिल्ट्रेट एंड द रेस्ट विल बी इन द रेजिड्यू. हीट द सोल्यूशन जो कि फिल्ट्रेट है until it's saturated. Saturated क्यों कर रहा है? Because it wants to remove all the extra water, but he wants to maintain crystal, which means water of crystallization हमें चाहिए है, ठीक है. Allow the saturated solution to remove the crystals. ठीक है, ये बात उसकी हो गई and we have been able to figure this out. Alright, write the equation for reaction in step 1. Step 1 में हमारे पास क्या है? Zinc powder है plus HCl है. This is aqueous, this is solid, but they have not asked us for state symbols, so we will not do that. We will create zinc chloride plus hydrogen gas, and now we just need to balance it and we're good. Explain why excess zinc powder is used. ठीक है? Why is the excess zinc powder used? Because this is going to be filtered out at the end, or to use up all the acid, and because the salt is soluble, ठीक है, that is required. अच्छा, यहाँ पे state symbols चाहिए थे हमें, तो zinc aqueous, aqueous, and this is gonna be a gas. So हमारे पास ये सारे उसके reactions हो गए. अच्छा, hold on, just give me a minute. Okay, I need to get something. Okay, suggest how unreacted zinc powder is removed. Filtration. ठीक है. अच्छा, question says 80. I don't know what that means. Okay, a saturated solution is formed in step 3. Suggest what is meant by the saturated solution. Saturated solution is the solution जिसमें वो सारे के सारा dissolve हो गया है, which has dissolved all the maximum amount of solute has been dissolved. That is what the saturated solution is. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay, so you're asking कि question बताता है आपको कि which one is soluble and which one is not. Yes, this one is dilute. There is a hint. Powder solid है, hint है, ठीक है. aqueous zinc chloride hint है कि ये soluble होगा. So all of these things are there for you to figure out. अगर आप उनको use भी करें, अगर आपको याद नहीं भी है ना, that is still useful. ठीक है. अच्छा, यहाँ पे जैसे आपने कहा कि एक स्टूडेंट कह रहे हैं कि उन्होंने HCl का नाम नहीं लिया. Doesn't matter. You just have to convey to the examiner that you know what you're talking about. ठीक है. अच्छा. Now next question. A saturated solution is formed in step 3. What is saturated solution? Saturated solution is the solution that has dissolved all the solute possible at that temperature. The temperature part is very important because अगर आप temperature change करोगे, so it will obviously be able to dissolve more things. So that's not going to answer your question. So you have, it's a 2-mark question. At that temperature, maximum amount of solute has been dissolved. या इससे ज़्यादा dissolve नहीं हो सकता. One of those. A solution which can no longer dissolve any more solute, good, but at that temperature, that's very important. Explain why crystals form as the solution cools. Why do the crystals form? Because as you cool it down, the zinc chloride that you have, it will dissolve less and less and less. So zinc chloride becomes less soluble as it cools. ठीक है. So as it cools down, the solubility decreases. जो dissolve नहीं हो रहा वो solid बनता जाएगा. Name 2 zinc compounds which react with dilute HCl to form. Now here's what you have to see. Is zinc more soluble? अगर तो more reactive than hydrogen तो फिर तो zinc metal भी होगा. लेकिन क्या वो यहाँ पे आंसर दे सकते हैं? नहीं, because उसने compound मांगे. So if you cannot use zinc oxide, zinc carbonate, zinc hydroxide, ये तीनों हैं. हमने यहाँ पे कौन सा यूज किया? हमने zinc metal यूज किया. तो zinc carbonate is a good choice. ठीक है, zinc carbonate. Zinc hydroxide is a good choice, but zinc oxide is something that you can also use. Okay. Aqueous बनाने के लिए पानी कहाँ से लाएंगे यार? ये बड़ा मुश्किल है, especially with what India is doing. तो कोई नहीं, उम्मीद कर लेते हैं. If excess calcium metal is used instead of excess zinc powder, pure calcium chloride crystals do not form. So वो आपसे पूछ रहा है कि कैल्शियम क्यों नहीं रिएक्ट कर रहा और या कैल्शियम क्लोराइड क्यों नहीं बन रहा. उसकी वजह ये कि कैल्शियम हाइड्रोक्साइड भी बनेगा. ये क्या बात है? कैल्शियम itself is going to react with water, and when it reacts with water, it will produce calcium hydroxide. So आपके पास सिर्फ कैल्शियम क्लोराइड नहीं बनेगा, कैल्शियम हाइड्रोक्साइड भी बनेगा. So that is what you can do. That calcium reacts with water to produce calcium hydroxide as well. Okay. So I have explained, although इतनी ज़्यादा डिटेल चाहिए नहीं थी, हम सिर्फ उसको बदल देते हैं कि कैल्शियम will react with water. That's good. ठीक है. Okay. How do we know what reacts with HVCl? I don't know what HVCl is. All right. This question, moles, this is an important question. Let's go through this. Circle the type of reaction that takes place here. What's happening here? You are getting alkali and acid neutralization reaction. There you go. This is the one. उसने circle बोला है तो circle को ही use करना है, underline ना कर देना. ठीक है. Okay. Calculate the concentration of aqueous sodium hydroxide in grams per dm cube. Okay. So this is a step-by-step question. O-levels people, they have it harder except for from next year because IGCSE में वो break down करता है every step. Okay, calculate the number of moles of sulfuric acid used. So हमें number of moles के लिए n equal to Cv चाहिए होता है. Concentration हमारे पास है, volume हमारे पास है, so we will use that. So 0.1 times 25 over 1000. Make sure you divide by 1000 because you need to convert it to decimeter cube. Okay, so this will give me 0.1.025. So your calculator can give you the answer either as 0.0025 or 2.5 into 10 to the negative 3. Both of them are acceptable, both of them are numbers. You should be comfortable with it. अभी हमने maths का paper दिया, so we should all be good with it. Okay. Salman, I don't understand your question. What do you exactly mean by that? Okay, determine the number of moles of sodium hydroxide that reacts. Now here's the thing. Titration questions या जितने भी आपके पास stoichiometry questions होते हैं, you take information of one thing, you use ratio to figure out the information of the second thing. That is the method. Okay, take information of one thing which you just have moles of H2CO4, use mole ratio to find moles of the other thing, and then you work with that. So based on this, we will need double the amount of sodium hydroxide. So 0.0025 times 2, that is going to be 5 into 10 to the negative 3, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 0.005. Okay, calculate the concentration of this. So concentration again is number of moles over volume. Number of moles that we need is 5 into 10 to the negative 3. Volume that we have is how much is it? 20 cm cube. So 20 into 10 to the negative 3. Again, what I did was 20 divided by 1000. Yeah, 20 into 10 to the negative 3. Yeah, जैसे भी आप comfortable हैं. You want to start here? Go ahead. Be my guest. No worries. Okay, so this cancels out. I'm left with 0.25. Okay, calculate the concentration of this in grams per dm cube. How do you convert moles into grams? That is the question. Very simple. Moles is mass over mr. So multiply by mr. So sodium oxide is 40. So 40 into 0.25, that is 10 grams per dm cube. Okay, so that is how you get the answer. Now remember, mole to gram per dm cube से confused नहीं होना है. Mole से gram में जा रहे हैं, dm cube तो वहीं का वहीं है. It doesn't matter. Okay. Hi Nish. Can we use zinc symbol or zinc another element of symbol? Yes, you can use a symbol for the element that you have, and you will be good. Yeah. Okay. So no issues there. When you increase in temperature occurs. Okay, hold on. When the increase in temperature occurs, which reason causes equilibrium to shift to the either the reactant or product side? Reason तो हमें नहीं O levels में, in fact A levels में भी ज़्यादा reason नहीं पढ़ते हैं. It's the actual reason is how reaction quotient matches the reaction constant, or we don't need to go into that. But you just need to use the Le Chatelier's principle to figure that out. Okay. Mark scheme gives different answers on same question. That's okay. The thing with mark scheme is if it is correct chemistry, you will get the marks. There are two kinds of mark schemes. I've said it before as well. One is the one that is released to the public, and one that is given only to the examiners. So वो जो examiners वाली होती है ना, I've worked as an examiner, so I know it has a lot more detail. ठीक है, it has all the extra options as well. So you don't need to worry कि मेरा आंसर mark scheme में नहीं था. Mark scheme का पेपर नहीं है आपका केमिस्ट्री का पेपर है. Okay, IGCSE theory way too easy. I'm not getting into that. Okay, color change किस के याद करें? जो आपके पास लिखे हुए हैं ना ATP के syllabus में, वो सारे याद करने. And the easiest way to do that, go to the fact sheet on my website. Alright, with that part done, the next question that I want to do is question number 5G. Okay, 5K different parts here. Let's go through those. Give the letter of the organic compound P to you that are unsaturated. Unsaturated are the one with carbon-carbon double bonds. Okay, so carbon-carbon double bonds, U has that. Okay, clearly. उसके बाद आपको बाकी खुद से देखने हैं, ठीक है. अच्छा, अब यहाँ पे देखें, propanoic acid has carbon oxygen double bond, doesn't matter. But1-ene, sorry guys, but1-ene is alkene, so definitely R. The order doesn't matter. U and R या R and U दोनों ठीक हैं. Yes, Shivesh, I am a Barca fan. Okay. Do we need to know the difference between branch alkane and unbranched alkane? Of course you need to know the difference, but you will not be asked to name them separately. You just need to be able to draw them. Okay. Hasnan, I'm really sorry to hear that. कोई बात नहीं, CIE में ठीक कर लेंगे. Yes, you're absolutely right, Shivash. How to and do we have to put XY at the start of X isomer? What do you mean XY? Oh, do you mean the branches and all that? Sure. अगर आपको आता है, you should. Although you must know by now in IGCSE or O levels how to name properly 2-chloropropane, इस तरह करके नाम आपको आने चाहिए, ठीक है. What to draw when asked for structural formula? अच्छा, structural formula में आपके पास दो तरह के formulas होते हैं. एक ये formula, this is called displayed formula. In O levels, even if you put displayed formula, examiner आपको marks दे देगा. But structural formula अगर उसने specifically मांगा है, तो better answer would be that you write by naming every carbon. So structural formula लिखते कैसे? Because everybody is comfortable with displayed formula, I would suggest पहले displayed formula बना, and then let's move on. Okay, let's go through this. So CH2, what did I do? I took the carbon and then I put everything connected with that. So first carbon, 2 hydrogen. then next carbon 1 hydrogen, next carbon 3 hydrogen, and that is the formula for this one. Okay, and that is how you name everything. अगर इसका हम try करेंगे, so this will be CH3, first carbon, whatever is connected to that, then CH2, then CH3, and we are good. Okay. Describe the test for unsaturated hydrocarbon. Unsaturated के लिए pass it through aqueous bromine. So pass through aqueous bromine. And observation will be it goes colorless. ठीक है. So goes colorless. या आप decolorizes भी लिख सकते हो. But1ene is unbranched molecule. Name the unbranched isomer of but1ene. Unbranched. What? Name the unbranched isomer of but1ene. Name. Oh, another isomer. I'm so sorry. Yeah, so but2ene will be another isomer. Yeah, because the double bond just moves. Draw the structure of branched isomer of but1ene. Branch isomer का मतलब होगा कि आपको obviously branch बनानी. So here's what you can do. First of all, put the double bond there. That is the 1ene. That means पहले कार्बन पे डबल बॉन्ड होगी तो ये तो दोनों हाइड्रोजन हो गए. अब आपके पास दो और कार्बन हैं तो एक को इधर लगा दें और एक को उधर लगा दें. ठीक है. ड्रॉ उसने कहा शो ऑल एटम्स एंड ऑल द बॉन्ड्स. सो हम इसको इस तरह से तीनों हाइड्रोजन्स लिख देंगे एंड वी आर गुड. बॉन्ड एंगल से फर्क नहीं पड़ता. इट डजंट मैटर. ऑलराइट. While drawing structural isomers, bi-structure is different from, but the molecular formula is the same. If your structure is different from molecular formula, that means you have drawn an isomer there. Sorry, if your structure is different from the one they have drawn, that means you have drawn an isomer. Maybe that isomer is not required. Zeres, this is IGCSE 2021. Yes, it is valid for tomorrow's paper, of course. Dodecane is an alkane with 12 carbon atom. Dodecane can be cracked. Write the formula for dodecane. Now we don't need to know anything except the general formula. CnH2n, that means C12H24. That is the answer. Give the letters of all organic compounds P to U that can be formed when dodecane is cracked. अच्छा, अब dodecane को आपने crack करना है तो आपको इससे छोटे जितने भी कार्बन वाले compounds हैं वो मिल सकते हैं. Alkanes and alkenes. Okay. CnH2n plus 2 is for alkanes, not alkenes. Okay. It's an alkane. Thank you. So this is gonna be C12H26. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you Ahmed and everybody else. Okay. खुशी होती है जब स्टूडेंट्स ऐसे पॉइंट आउट करते हैं कि भाई ये ठीक करो. दैट मीन्स आप लोगों की तैयारी अच्छी है. ग्रेट. ओके, सो द थिंग इज हमें इनमें से कौन सा मिल सकता है. नाउ रिमेंबर, एक तो वो 12 से छोटे होने चाहिए एंड सेकंड इट शुड बी अ हाइड्रोकार्बन. उसमें ऑक्सीजन नहीं हो सकता, उसमें क्लोरीन नहीं हो सकता. सो यहाँ से पिक करें. ये उससे छोटा है, ये बन सकता है. ये उससे छोटा है, ये बन सकता है. ये बन सकता है. Q, T and S, all of them have oxygen. ये नहीं बन सकते. So P, R and U, those are the options possible. Okay, name the reagent and suggest the condition needed to convert organic compound U into S. U is alkene. S is alcohol. How do you go from alkene to alcohol? You add water with a catalyst at high temperature. Okay, now what are the conditions? Phosphoric acid catalyst, 60 atmospheric pressure, 300 degree Celsius. ये आपकी तीन requirements हैं. इनमें से एक भी दे देंगे ना, आंसर आ जाएगा. So we need steam या water लिख सकते हैं. And conditions are 60 atmospheric pressure, 300 degree Celsius temperature, H3PO4 catalyst. By the way, this catalyst you don't need to memorize. So अगर आपको खाली catalyst भी लिखते हो ना, it's good. Okay, but that is not the condition. So catalyst जो है ना वो condition में नहीं आता. Condition में ये दोनों आते हैं. Catalyst is just something you need to add. So catalyst will be reagent. This is an important point because many students write catalyst as condition and that's not the point. Catalyst is not the condition. Condition can be temperature or pressure. Okay. Organic compound S can be converted to organic compound Q by reaction with an acidified reagent. Okay. S was alcohol, Q was acid. You need acidified oxidizing agent. So acidified potassium manganate 7 is good. Acidified potassium dichromate is good. Okay. So the reaction is oxidation, and we need potassium manganate 7. Okay, you can give potassium dichromate, that's also good. Dimethyl heptene, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know itne complicated names in IGCSE row levels. Okay. Organic compound T is made by reacting two compounds together. Name the homologous series that it is. So that is an ester we saw. Okay. Name the two compounds which react together to make that. So let's see. Methyl butanoate. The methyl part comes from alcohol. Butanoate part comes from the acid. That means you need methanol and butanoic acid. So that's what we'll write. So methanol and butanoic acid. Now remember, every time they ask you for name, you must give a name. For example, in the previous question, they asked you to name it. So you cannot just write the formula. Here they ask you to name it. You must write the name. Agar aap formula likhoge, you will not get the answer even though your answer is correct. Okay. So the structure of methanol is simply this. You can skip hydrogen agar usne aapko ye baat na boli ho. But they have said draw all the atoms, so we are going to write all the atoms. Similarly, butanoic acid is 4 carbons, last one has double OH, and everything else is just hydrogens. Okay, there you go. All right, the real question I really wanted to come to was this one actually, part G. Deduce the molecular formula of compound T. So molecular formula is going to be, you have all the atoms that you need to add up. So I'm gonna remove water from this. So this goes away and this goes away. Although technically this and this is the one that reacts, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we have everything else that we need from this. So we'll just add everything up. So there's 5 carbons. There is 10 hydrogen, I think, and 2 oxygen. Okay, and that is our answer. All right, so that is what I needed to do from this paper. There is this part of polymer that students should know about. So state the name given to these, that is monomer. The formula for polymer is shown. By looking at it, we know this is addition polymer. Why? Because it does not have any linkages in it. So draw the structure of small molecule from which this is made. How do you do that? You take this thing and you simply add the double bond there. Okay? So we take this thing, add the double bond in the middle, and you're good. Everything else stays the same. Okay? This is how you convert addition polymers to monomer. Take the thing, that repeating unit, and just add a double bond in there. Shiresh, again, I don't know what that is because every teacher has their own methods. So I don't know what that is. Question is, can we expand CH3? You must actually expand CH3 because उसने आपसे कहा है कि show all of the atoms and all of the bonds. So we will write this. Okay? And obviously hydrogen डालना पड़ेगा. All right. Straight line or teary line doesn't matter. Okay. State the type of polymerization used to make this. That's addition polymerization. How do I know? There's no linkage that you have there. Acha, this question, the new syllabus that you have, it does not ask you to name many of these things. Okay, but the method is still required. You should still be able to draw this. Okay, all right. Ali, I'm sorry, I won't. All right, let's look at it. Name the type of natural polymer formed when amino acids combine. That is protein. Again, even in the new syllabus, you need to know this. Complete the diagram to show part of the structure of natural polymer that forms when these 3 amino acids combine. Again, remove, copy, join. I've told you that is the method to make polymers from any monomers. So remove, copy, join ka matlab kya hoega? You remove water. That is the simple byproduct you need to remove. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to remove 1 hydrogen from here and OH from here. Similarly, 1 hydrogen from here, OH from here. 1 hydrogen from here, OH from here. Or jo baki bacha hai, just copy that and join them. Okay, so you have CO on the right side, NH on the left side of every one of them. So that's what's going to happen. CO on the right side, NH on the left side. Okay, for every one of them, just copy it. Okay, and then join them. Remove, copy, join. Okay, so this is the polymer that you get. You make sure that you draw these continuity bonds. If you don't write them, unfortunately you'll lose a mark. And many students say, do we have to show the brackets around it? Brackets are optional, bonds are not optional. Okay, similarly, sometimes you might see that you are going to do this with N. That's also acceptable, but you don't need to do it. It looks like it's not for O levels. Trust me, it is for O levels. It is an IGCSE paper, but you need to know it for O levels. Okay. Do you need to memorize the drawing? Not at all. You just need to know how to draw it. Okay. What's the process called? This process is called condensation. That is the reaction. And to reverse it, you need to do catalytic hydrolysis. Okay. Just hydrolysis wouldn't work. You need to do catalytic hydrolysis. Okay. So hydrolysis or catalytic hydrolysis, both are acceptable answers. Okay, there you go. And yeah, that is this paper. Let's move on to the second paper. Let me see, मैंने उसमें से list निकाली हुई थी. All right, let's see. All right, any questions? Let's. Can you do 2025 paper? Yes, I will. Just give me like 3 months. Is hydrolysis part of syllabus? I'll have to confirm, but hydrolysis of alkenes is definitely part of syllabus. For condensation polymers, I'll have to see. Why the double bond? Where's the double bond? The double bond between carbon and oxygen is gonna be there. Yes. Okay. In this paper, the next one that you have, मेरे पास जो question है that I want to do with you is question number 2, question number 3 and question number 5. But obviously सारे नहीं करने, उनके कुछ parts करने. ठीक है. जैसे यहाँ पे हमारे पास question number 2 का E part, I want to do that with you. This is moles का question. Again, you might have done this before. It's very similar to the one that we did last, अभी पिछले वाले में जो हमने किया. So I would suggest कि ये आपने अपने लिए attempt करने के लिए रख लो. ठीक है? Question number 2E for this one. Ryan, that ship has sailed. Let's look at this question. Describe how the graph shows that the rate of reaction decreases as the time increases. Okay, so for this question, the thing is, how do we know that? So the answer is pretty straightforward. The answer is that the gradient of the this thing decreases. So because the gradient decreases, that shows that हमारे पास the rate of reaction is decreasing. Okay, so you can talk about the gradient or slope, whichever word you prefer. Okay. Next question is explain in terms of particles why the rate of reaction decreases as the time increases. Wait a minute. In terms of particles, when the concentration of particles decreases, ठीक है, कौन से particles? Acid के particles. And because of that, हमारे पास lower rate या lower frequency of collisions per unit time होगा, and that is why the rate of reaction decreases. Okay. Student repeats the experiment using powdered magnesium carbonate instead of large pieces. What have they done? They have increased the surface area, and because they have increased the surface area, rate of reaction will be higher. Okay, on the grid, draw the line expected when powdered magnesium carbonate is used instead of large pieces. अच्छा, अब इसमें दो चीजें होंगी. Number one, the amount that you get is going to be the same. So volume will still be this one, but the time that it takes is going to be less. So you have a choice कि आप कितने time में उसको complete करते हो. So you can complete it at this time, completely your choice. I'm just gonna do, make sure that it is a line that is faster, that is more steep than this line, and that is how we show that this is a higher rate of reaction. All right. End point is obviously going to be the same because you have not added more salt or more magnesium carbonate. You've just increased the number of you have just increased the surface area. All right. Seth, I'm sorry, I don't have an accent, but कभी-कभी बन जाता है. Okay, yeah, we have done this. All right, so this was the question that I wanted to do. Question number 3D. That's I want to do with you next. All right, a couple of questions while we get to that. For example, explain how nitrogen dioxide is formed in car engines. So in car engines, what do you have? You have nitrogen from the air, oxygen from the air, and both of them combine because you have high temperature. and that's what we say. It's that the nitrogen and oxygen from air react at high temperature, and that is how you get this. All right, many students write high temp for some reason. Don't write that. High temperature pura likhe. All right. No, in Boston. But I fluctuate. Like I travel frequently to Boston and DC, mainly DC hota hu. Could you write incomplete combustion? Where? Here? Not necessarily. I mean, you don't know whether it's incomplete or complete combustion. Alright, and it's nitrogen dioxide. It must be either complete combustion or it must be partial combustion and then converting to oxygen. Then reacting with oxygen. Nitrogen dioxide causes respiratory problems. State one other adverse effect. So acid rain, because it's acidic and it will react with water to do that. So acid rain. Okay, it dissolves in water to produce nitric acid. Alright, next question. Name the type of reaction which occurs when a substance is heated and breaks down to simpler substance. Decomposition, right? But you can write full thermal decomposition if you want, but it's not really required. One molecule of urea breaks down to form one molecule of ammonia and one other molecule. Okay, so we just need to make sure that it's balanced. And what do we have left? From here, we have one hydrogen left. We have one nitrogen left. And so I can just write NHCO. Okay, although it should be HNCO, I guess, or HCNO, I don't know. I'll have to look at the bonding in urea to know, but this is acceptable. You don't have to change it in any way. State the test for ammonia. This is again something you memorize. I've told you in the syllabus, go to the end of the syllabus. There are things you need to memorize. So gas test, cation and anion test. Okay. The ammonia formed reacts with nitrogen dioxide to form nitrogen and water. Balance the equation. So nitrogen and water के लिए हम इसको balance कर लेते हैं. You have 2 nitrogen, which is obviously what you have. Hydrogen we have 24. So this is going to be 8, right? 8 times that. And that means I need to have 12 oxygen, so that is 6, and that makes a total of 14 nitrogen, so that's 7. Okay. State how the equation shows that the nitrogen dioxide is reduced. How does this equation show that this nitrogen is reduced? So there's many different ways of doing that. You can talk about the simplest one, that it loses any oxygen. So loses oxygen. Okay, and that's good. You don't have to write O2, just oxygen O is good enough. Okay. But here if you write it loses O2, that's acceptable, but not good chemistry. Okay. All right. So this was the part that I wanted to do with you in this. Let's look at the next one. This reaction is redox reaction. State the meaning of the term redox, reduction in oxygen. That's what you have. Okay. Forward reaction is exothermic and backward is exothermic. Both of them can't be exothermic. One of them would be. Okay. Alright. Another oxide of nitrogen forms in the car and nitrogen monoxide. A catalytic converter removes nitrogen monoxide by reacting with the gas formed by incomplete combustion. 2 non-toxic gases are formed. Name the gas formed by incomplete combustion of the fuel. यहाँ पे उसने आपसे ये नहीं बोला कि incomplete combustion of nitrogen, incomplete combustion of fuel, and fuel usually has hydrocarbons in it. So carbon monoxide. And also this is name, so you must name it. Name the 2 non-toxic gases, nitrogen and carbon dioxide. Those are non-toxic gases that we should write about. If you write CO2 and NO2, you won't get a mark because they have asked you to name them. Similarly, अगर आप N लिख देते हो instead of N2, that is also not acceptable. N2 is the gas, N is not the gas, is just the symbol for element. So you must name it, and you must name it पूरी तरह से. Okay. मेरे हाथ में कहाँ है किसी को बुलाना भाई. Okay. We are required to calculate the oxidation number of compounds or ions? No, not at all. You are supposed to know the oxidation ion from the name. For example, अगर मैं आपसे कहता हूँ iron 3 oxide, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि iron is +3. मैं आपसे कहता हूँ copper 2 sulfate, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि copper is +2. मैं आपसे कहता हूँ zinc hydroxide, आपको पता होना चाहिए कि zinc is +2, silver is +1. ये नाम से आपको उसके चार्जेस याद होने चाहिए, बट आपको कैलकुलेशन कभी भी एग्जामिनर नहीं कहेगा कि कैलकुलेट करके बताओ. ओके, next question that I want to do with you, 5C. Okay, 5C. This is also organic. Okay, ethane reacts with chlorine at room temperature to form dichloroethane. State why this is addition reaction. Now in this question, how do we know that this is addition? Because the double bond in carbon is broken now. But more importantly, in addition, multiple reactants combine to make one product, and that is what we write, that only one product. Okay, and that is what we will say here. All right. I will do something of A levels later on, not today. Okay. I have attempted around 10 past hours of chemistry and managed to have all of them, but these are difficult. Yes, I have collected all the difficult questions from last 5 years. So the link for that worksheet जिसमें मैंने सालों की लिस्ट दी है वो इस स्ट्रीम की description में है. Make sure that you go through all of those. In fact, that's what we are going to do here. Should we draw in pencil or pen? You can draw in both, but I would suggest pencil is better. How far do we need to know about isomers? You just need to be able to draw isomers. You need to be able to name कि ये branch है या unbranched है, but branched isomers की naming आपके syllabus में नहीं है. So you don't need to be able to say that okay 2,3-dimethyl heptane or something. You don't need to know that. Okay. If forward reaction is exothermic, then backward will be endothermic. Yes. Now which side it will go to depends on the temperature. If you increase the temperature, always remember Le Chatelier's principle. Whatever you do, it goes opposite of that. So if you increase the temperature, the equilibrium goes to decrease the temperature, which is endothermic side. If you decrease the temperature, equilibrium goes to increase the temperature, which is exothermic side. That's what you have to. Okay. Can we write short form? PBT is acceptable. KE, kinetic energy, I would suggest write the full thing. Sorry. And similarly, there's the third one, IMT. I don't even know what that is. So I would suggest for okay, you don't use them. PPT is acceptable. Okay. Graphic curve करना ज़रूरी है. Yes, because as the rate increases, as the time passes, the concentration of particles decreases, which means less frequent collisions. Gradient should decrease. अगर आप straight line में आते हो in rate of reaction, that's not acceptable. That's not realistic. Ending time, please. I don't know what that means. Are you saying कि कब मुझे जाना है? I have to leave in 1 hour regardless. So maximum 1 hour more. Positional isomers की naming, I would not suggest you spend too much time on that because you should be able to name them. You should be able to draw them, but naming पे ज़्यादा time ना लगाएं. मोल में कितने significant लिखें? जितने उसने दिए हैं ना, try to write up to that. अगर वो आपसे कहते हैं, but you should find minimum 3 significant figures. Concentration का क्या होता है? Le Chatelier's. If you increase the concentration of reactant, it will go to the product side, and if you increase the concentration of product, it will go to the reactant side. Always opposite. Okay. Positional isomers की naming you don't need to. Use of plastics. Yes, a few plastics you need to know. Okay. Okay, Ali. For color facets, should we write red? Depends on the indicator you're using. If you're using methyl orange or if you're using litmus, then of course the color is going to be red. But depends on other. For example, if you're using universal indicator, it will be different. Do we need to memorize condition for which type of reaction? Again, go to the fact sheet. Fact sheet has all the things you need to memorize. What's decomposition reaction and thermal one? Decomposition is when one substance breaks down into multiple ones, and thermal means that you're giving it heat. Some things break down because of temperature, some things break down because of pressure. So it depends what you have. In some marking scheme they mentioned because forward is exo, in some other question they mentioned to release energy. Both are acceptable. Both are acceptable. Yeah. Acha, what are the top 5 most important questions? I've gone through that. Is chromatography important? I mean, you should know for 2 or 3 marks chromatography कैसे करते हैं, and that's about it, I guess. Organic chemistry structure drawing. Go to 90-minute organic. that is the video that will go through it in detail. You don't have to go through the whole thing, just look at the part that is relevant to this. Next question. For empirical formula, do we need to round it off, and when do we multiply? Okay, so empirical formula is always simplest ratio, but you should not round it off. You should in fact try to make it a whole number. Unless it's like 2.01, you can round it off. 1.9, round it off. But if you have 1.6, don't round it off. Try to multiply with the number so that you get a whole number. That's the goal of empirical formula. Is there another way to balance equation apart from trial and error? I don't use rate. What I do is I use ratios, and secondly, what I do is I always do oxygen as the end, hydrogen second last, and everything else before that. So, for example, carbon, I'll try to balance it first, then hydrogen, then oxygen, and I always work with ratios. So, for example, अगर आपके पास product side, I'll give you an example. Let's say मेरे पास है, it's a very simple case though. So, let's say I have C2H5, COH, and I'm burning it. So I'll produce carbon dioxide and water. So now what I need to do is I need to balance it. So I'll start with carbon first. So carbon, there's two of them and there's one of this. So the ratio is 2 on the left, 1 on the right. I'll write 2. Hydrogen, I have 6 on the left, I have 2 on the right. So 6 divided by 2, 3. So the ratio is 6 over 2. I'll write 3. Oxygen, I have 4 here, 3 here. That's a total of 7. So I'll take these 7 and have 2 here. So I'll just write 7 over 2. But hold on, sorry. Out of those 7, 1 is here. So I'm just left with 6. So 6 over 2, 3. So I always work with ratios. Okay. Are decimals acceptable in balancing? Yes. Decimals are acceptable, but decimals like 1.5 or 7 over 2. But writing numbers like 7 over 3, I wouldn't suggest that. In fact, if you have something like this, multiply the whole thing by 3, multiply the whole thing by 2 so that you get a whole number. Okay, you don't need to know whole number, but yes, you can draw them if you want. अगर A star आ गया तो $1,000 आपके ठीक है Binance पे भेज देना. Is displayed formula, can we make structural formula? If they have asked you for displayed formula, make displayed formula. Okay, can we draw it with pencil? Of course you can draw it with pencil. Will definitions come? I didn't see recently. Sometimes they do ask you for 1 or 2 marks, but it's not really required that you memorize the exact definition. But yes, sometimes you need to know the keywords, and keywords do help. If you need to know which definitions you must know, then again refer to the worksheet, the fact sheet that I have on my website. If you don't want to do that, then go to the syllabus, and in the syllabus look for the command words define. If the word define this is there, you should be able to define that. Is thermal stability part of the syllabus? Thermal stability down the group is not part of the syllabus. Okay. If we write an answer but realize it's wrong, can we use an Excel sheet? Very good question. If I realize that I've written the wrong answer, what should I do? First of all, I should cut it out like this. This is the acceptable way. Do not do this. ये नहीं बनाना. ठीक है? You're not Van Gogh. Don't do that. Just write one line, cut it through. That's one. Why should I do that? Because अगर मैंने ये लिखा है, but I did not overwrite it. If I did not write another thing, और somehow ये सही था लेकिन मैंने काट दिया, examiner will consider it. अगर मैंने एक आंसर दिया, चाहे वो कटा हुआ है, examiner will consider it. Second, if I've done this and then I write another answer, examiner will consider that. Now you should try to not write below this line. ये जो आपकी है ना, इनसे ऊपर स्कैन किया जाता है. And why are these here? Because the scanner, the automatic scanner that you have, these are for that. कि उसको पता है इससे ऊपर मैंने स्कैन करना है, इसके नीचे स्कैन नहीं करना है. Similarly, वो इसके लेफ्ट साइड पे स्कैन नहीं करता, वो इसके राइट साइड पे स्कैन नहीं करता. ठीक है? So make sure you write within this window that you have. And you can write that if you want. You can draw like कि इसका आंसर मैंने यहाँ पे लिखा है. You can do that. Let's say you don't have any space. Then what you should do? Look for an empty page. Those are also scanned like this blank page, and write just below it. Okay? And mention here that this is on page 14. Okay? Make sure you do that. Although I would suggest कि सोच के लिखें ताकि इसकी नौबत ही ना आए. If our answer is longer than given lines, yes, you can do that. Okay, so moving on. Now we will do some questions from Feb March 2023, but I need to get the charger for this iPad, so give me a minute. I'll be back. Okay. Fact sheet is on my website. Go to O levels IGCSE and you will find it there. Chemistry. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I need to get the charger. Alright guys, let's go through this. You're asking where the fact sheet is. Hold on, let me find it for you. So fact sheet. Yes, so this fact sheet. Yeah, so I'm just gonna share the link with you. There is a fact sheet for A levels as well that I've created. So वो भी इधर ही आपको मिल जाएगी. So there's a link for fact sheet. You can also go to the website and get it from there. Alright, so now I'm going to go through the questions for O levels and let's look at some papers for O levels people. क्योंकि वो कहते हैं कि हमें sideline कर दिया गया है. ऐसा नहीं है बच्चे. So this is IGCSE. Okay, so this is May, June 2022. Alright, so let me look at which questions I needed to do for this one. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute, this is paper ATP. I don't need ATP. Okay, so let me go through this. Yeah, sorry guys, just a minute. Let me get 2021 ka paper. चलें, कोई बात नहीं. 5070-2022 paper 21. Okay. Okay, so in this one, I need to go to. Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, in this we have these 2022 ka paper. Where are all the questions gone? Yeah. So May June 2022 इसमें मेरे पास क्वेश्चन जो मैंने करने हैं alright, please revise polymers. Polymers पे देखो अभी in the beginning of the stream I've talked about the addition polymer and condensation polymer, so go through that. Now let's look at this question. Question number 1 from this paper was actually very useful. Okay, this is O levels. Let's go through this. Each compound may be used once, more than once, and not. ठीक है, state which compound. अब यहाँ पे उसने word use किया state. That means you can name them, you can write the formula. But I will always suggest कि जैसे उसने यहाँ पे नाम लिखा हुआ है ना, अगर उसने formula लिखा है, copy the formula. अगर उसने नाम लिखा है, copy the name. Okay. It is purple in color. So purple in color मतलब KMNO4. Okay. All right. Reacts with aqueous sodium sulfate to form white precipitate. Sulfate के साथ white precipitate किसका हो गया? मतलब वो transition metal नहीं है, ठीक है, और हमारे पास white precipitate है उसका. तो सल्फेट के साथ white precipitate किसी भी ऐसी चीज का यहाँ पे barium is a good one because barium is used to test for sulfate. So you can say barium nitrate is the one that you will be using. Reacts with aqueous chlorine to give a brown solution. क्लोरीन के साथ ब्राउन सोल्यूशन कैसे मिलेगा? जब आयोडीन का ब्राउन कलर नजर आएगा. सो दैट मीन्स पोटेशियम आयोडाइड. ओके, Ki. Somebody asked why not magnesium. Magnesium sulfate is partially soluble and that is why you will not use that one. Okay, so that's the reason you will not use this. Okay, all right. Next question. Is prepared using a precipitation reaction. Insoluble salts are prepared using precipitation reaction. So pick the one that is insoluble from here. So हमारे पास यहाँ पे insoluble salts कौन से हैं? Silver chloride is insoluble, so you can write that is the one prepared by insoluble. Contains anion with a charge of -3. That should be this one, right? Na3N. Used to test for reducing agent. Any oxidizing agent can be used to test for reducing agent. Okay, so KMNO4. Insoluble salt कैसे पता चलता है? उसके लिए solubility rules हैं. I would suggest you go to the solubility rules video. It's a 4-6 minutes video. उसमें आपको मिल जाएगा. Alright. Are writing formulas necessary for moles? Not at all. You don't need to write formulas at all. अगर आप उसके बगैर काम कर सकते हो. Barium nitrate react करके barium sulfate बनाएगा जो white precipitate होगा. That's absolutely right. Sulfate को टेस्ट करने के लिए barium यूज होता है. Chloride, bromide, iodide को टेस्ट करने के लिए silver ion यूज होता है. All snap salts are soluble. Yes, that is true. How do we know in which question we should refer to ions while answering and in which should we refer to particles? If it's a question that's particularly only true for ions, like why do ionic compounds conduct electricity, you should talk about ions. But if it's a general thing, then definitely you're going to go for particles. Would you recommend attempting partial right now or revising the entire syllabus? I would suggest, जो मैंने अभी आपको list दी है ना, उसमें 10-12 questions हैं. There's a link at the bottom of this worksheet, this description of this live stream. Go to that, do those questions. पहले तो ये करो. Second, fact sheet. Fact sheet को review करो, get a study partner, उनके साथ बैठ के, उनके साथ phone पे जिस तरह भी, उनको do like memorize and test each other on whether you memorize and you remember all that. देखिए 35% of your exam is just you memorizing stuff. So वो 35% तो मुफ्त में आपको आना चाहिए ना, ठीक है? वो fact sheet has all of that. Oxidizing agent reaction with reducing agent का कलर चेंजेस क्या होंगे? ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट के कलर, रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट के कलर दोनों आपको पता होना चाहिए. सो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर KMNO4 है, इट गोज पर्पल टू कलर एस. पोटेशियम आयोडाइड है, कलरलेस टू ब्राउन, तो पहला पर्पल होगा, बाद में ब्राउन हो जाएगा, ठीक है। अच्छा, कोई स्टडी पार्टनर नहीं है, क्या कर सकते हैं? जिंदगी में दोस्त बनाने थे ना, कहा तो था। ओके, okay, Isa, I'll try. Yeah. What threshold will be the A? I don't know. It depends on what the students do. Sarma, don't worry. Relax. Take a deep breath. ठीक है? जो सवाल हैं, ask me. Okay, I'm here to help. Don't worry. Extinction, interesting. Intermolecular forces, can we write IMF? No. पहली बात है, as a Pakistani, you should stay away from IMF. And secondly, you should write the whole intermolecular force of attraction. Don't write IMF. सर मेरे सारे दोस्त निकम्मे निकले हैं भाई, mood. Okay. How much marks for extinction? What do you mean extinction? Okay. Why is threshold for A kind of low? Guys, ask me questions about the syllabus, not about the questions. Not about the paper in particular. Okay, second question that I want to do with you is question number 2. In question number 2, there is this part that I want to do. Sulfur has a boiling point of 445 degrees Celsius. Predict the physical state of sulfur at 200 degrees Celsius. It's a pretty easy question, right? Because it has a boiling point of 445. But many students, unfortunately, when they were answering this, they wrote solid. भाई solid क्यों होगा? ऊपर देखो ना, melting point बताया हुआ है उसने. So use the information that they've given, even if it's not in that part. Use the all the question. जो पूरे सवाल में जो उसने बताया वो आपने याद करना. Okay, so sulfur has a melting point of 113. It has a boiling point of 445. That means कि 113 और 445 के बीच में liquid है, उससे पहले solid है, उसके बाद में gas है. That is how it is. So the state is liquid, and the explanation is that the melting point is below 200, boiling point is after 200 or above 200, and that's how you write it. Okay, oxygen exists as diatomic molecule. Draw the dot and cross diagram for a molecule of oxygen. Again, dot and cross diagram में many students unfortunately struggle, which I don't understand. It's really straightforward. You write the two atoms, and obviously oxygen है, दूसरा भी oxygen है. You start by drawing one pair of electrons, okay, and बाकी पेयर कितने हैं टोटल उसके पास कितने हैं 6, तो बाकी हमारे पास हो जाएंगे. इसको जरा मैं रफ करके दिखाता हूँ, and then we'll try to write. So I'm going to give you a 4-step method of drawing any dot and cross diagram in the world, even if it is for A levels. Okay, so pay attention. Let's say I want to do it for oxygen, so I'll just do all the atoms and connect them with one line. That is one bond. Step 1, do that, सबको लिखें and one bond सबकी बना लें. Step 2, count how many atoms, electrons you have left. So I have 6 times 2 total 12. Out of those I've used one pair, so मेरे पास 10 electrons रह गए, ठीक है. So 10 को आपने यहाँ पे अब बाकी को adjust करना है, सही है. That's how you do it. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. हो गया. Just start by all of them, and last step, if the number of electrons is not 8 on all of them, if the octet is not complete, take one and share it. So यहाँ से मैं इसको लूंगा और मैं इसको share कर दूंगा, and I'm good. बन गया. Let's try another one. Let's say it's a very very difficult question. Very difficult question. Examiner शायद कभी भी नहीं पूछे आपसे. वो आपसे पूछता है कि मुझे अमोनियम आयन का डॉट एंड क्रॉस डायग्राम बना के दो. हाउ डू यू डू इट? स्टेप 1, सबको लिखें और एक एक बॉन्ड बना लें. हाइड्रोजन 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 हाइड्रोजन. ओके. स्टेप 2, काउंट हाउ मेनी इलेक्ट्रॉन्स यू हैव एंड हाउ मेनी यू लेफ्ट विथ. नाइट्रोजन के 5 प्लस हाइड्रोजन के 4, क्योंकि एवरी हाइड्रोजन इज 1, -1 बिकॉज चार्ज +1 है, तो हमारे पास टोटल है 8. ठीक है. 8 में से 8 ही यूज हो गए, तो ये आपका स्ट्रक्चर है. दैट्स इट. एक और क्वेश्चन करते हैं. हमें वो कहते हैं HCN की बॉन्डिंग बना के दें. HCN. अगेन मैं ये वो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ जो बहुत मुश्किल है. आसान वाले तो मैंने ऑलरेडी एक वीडियो बनाई हुई है, उसमें आप देख लो. HCN बनाना है मुझे. सबसे पहले हाइड्रोजन का 1, कार्बन के 6, कार्बन के 4 हैं, सॉरी, नाइट्रोजन के 5, so total 10 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, H C N। अब 5 में से मुझे 10 में से मैंने 4 यूज कर लिया, आई एम लेफ्ट विद 6 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, so 1 2 3 4 5 6, okay, I've used all the electrons. Now this carbon doesn't have octet, so I'll take 2, share them, so यहाँ से ये 2 लिए, share कर दिया, it still doesn't have it, I'll take 2 more and I'll share them, and I'm good, I've drawn the structure I needed. That's how you do it, okay, and that is the way to do it. Okay, explain in terms of structure and bonding why oxygen has low melting point. Okay, so structure and bonding. So structure क्या है हमारे पास? Molecular. Bonding कौन सी है? Intermolecular force of attraction, which is weak, which you can easily break. Okay, so bonding यहाँ पर is intermolecular force of attraction. It's not covalent bond that is broken, guys. It's intermolecular force of attraction. That is what is broken. Okay, so yes, absolutely correct answer. The simple molecular structure with weak intermolecular force of attraction, which is easily broken down, and that is the answer for this question. Okay, selenium 4 oxide. Again, we know selenium should be +4 from the name. Oxide is -2 because group 6. So ratio लिखेंगे. So SeO2. Do not write Se2O4 because this is empirical formula. All ionic compounds only have empirical formula. That is what you will write. Do not write Se2O4, write SeO2 because that is the empirical formula, and as ionic compound they should have empirical formula only. A small sample of selenium 4 oxide is dissolved in water. 2 drops of universal indicator added. Predict the color. So we know that selenium oxide is non-metal oxide, which means it should be acidic. Okay, so that acid का कोई भी कलर दे दें, आपके पास रेनबो होती है, red, orange, yellow, green, blue and violet. So the green part is neutral, this is the acid part, this is the basic part. So pick red, yellow, orange, दोनों में से कोई भी acceptable answer है, ठीक है, because this is a non-metal oxide. Okay, will the examiner accept my answer if I write in my own words if they do mean the same thing as the answer? Yeah, if you write good chemistry, you're good. Examiner will accept it. Macromolecule or giant covalent is the same? Yes. Macromolecules can also mean polymers, but giant covalent means a particular kind of covalent bond. So macromolecule is more like a general term. ठीक है, जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना particles, but particle also mean ions. So आपने जहाँ पे आयन लिखना है वहाँ पे आप पार्टिकल लिख सकते हो, बट आयन इज अ बेटर टर्म. ऐसे ही मैक्रोमोलिक्यूल एंड जाइंट कोवेलेंट की बात है. ऑलराइट, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. नॉन मेटल ऑक्साइड, इज इट एसिडिक? हेंस या. Darker color, again, I wouldn't write that darker color. I mean violet and purple can be a dark color, but I will not write कि वो acid है तो dark color होगा. Red, orange or yellow is good. When showing ionic bonding, does it matter if you write +3 or 3+? No, not at all. You can write +3 or 3+, both are acceptable. Okay. Yes, Hussein, I'm solving the question in the PDF, but not all of them because we are short on time. I have to leave in 15 minutes. Seth, can the examiner use the whole word dilute, aqueous, concentrate for any salt? Examiner can use dilute, examiner can use molten, examiner cannot use concentrated. Only for sodium chloride they will use concentrated. Sodium chloride is the one that you should know about. Concentrated, nothing else. Okay, why did you write Vibgyor? Isn't it in the waves? Well, Vibgyor is the color of universal indicator, so it is in physics as well as chemistry. Okay, all right, that is it. Okay, let's do this question. ये एक मुझे अच्छा क्वेश्चन लगा था because it had different reactions of acids, but at the same time this is also organic, so it's an interesting blend of the two topics. First of all, this is an acid, it's reacting with magnesium. So what will happen? Magnesium and this hydrogen, these are the ones that are going to react. Hydrogen is going to go as hydrogen gas, and magnesium is the one that is going to come here. So magnesium butanoate, that is the one that we're going to get. Okay, Similarly, this is acid, magnesium carbonate के साथ react करेगा. Acid plus metal carbonate is carbon dioxide and metal salt. So हमारे पास यहाँ पे magnesium butanoate plus carbon dioxide, ठीक है, ये हमारे पास बनेंगे. And of course water because this hydrogen and that oxygen reacts with ethanol. Ethanol के साथ it will do esterification, जिसको आप condensation reaction भी बोल सकते हैं. And that means कि हमारे पास water बनेगा. That is the liquid D, and liquid E is the ester that you have, and that is going to be ethyl butanoate. The ethyl part comes from the alcohol, and that's the answer. Name and draw the structure of E. So ethyl butanoate. So how do you write it out? So the buta part is going to be the thing with ester bond, and oxygen के उस side पर हमारे पास ethyl होगा, so 2 carbons, and that is how you write it. If you want to go back to where it came from, यहाँ से break down करें इसको, यहाँ से, ठीक है. So this part is coming from the acid and this part is coming from the alcohol. Complete the H and OH and you're good. हमने इसके ऊपर 90 minutes organic जो है उसको आप देख लें. We have gone through these. Can these type of hard questions come in IGCSE? Yeah, I mean the first 4 questions that we did today were IGCSE. Okay. Mark scheme says that write the structure formula. Because they've said draw the structure, you're good if you write this. But if you write structure formula, that's also acceptable. I mean, you can write CH3, CH2, CH2, COO, C2, CH2, CH3. All of that is acceptable. You can also write CO2. That's also acceptable. Butanoic acid is a weak acid. State what's meant by the term weak. It does not completely dissociate, does not completely ionize, partially dissociates, partially ionizes. All of that is acceptable. Really, I am your father's student. Interesting. What's the name of your father? Okay, yes, partially dissociate. Hydrogen ions partially dissociate, I wouldn't say that. Hussein, don't say hydrogen ions partially dissociate. If you already have ions, they are going to dissociate. Okay? We will write that the acid molecules partially dissociate, okay? Or just say it partially dissociate. Sir Nadeem Rasool, he was one of the best teachers I've had. Although मुझे उनसे थोड़ा सा डर लगता था. But I remember in A-levels, I took further maths, and there was no teacher in the school who was willing to teach me further maths. और मेरे स्कूल में वो ऑफर नहीं होता था. So Sir Nadeem Rasool asked me कि तुम मेरे पास एक्स्ट्रा टाइम में आ जाया करो. और अक्सर वो शाम को मैं उनके घर चले जाता था कई दफ़ा, एंड ही वुड टीच मी फर्दर मैथ्स. एंड मुझे याद है कि मेरी जो A1 की समर ब्रेक थी उसमें उन्होंने मुझे सारा A-levels का मैथ्स पूरा करवा दिया. एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ इट ही नेवर चार्ज मी एनीथिंग. एंड मुझे जो मोहब्बत है मैथ्स के साथ, उसके पीछे कुछ लोग हैं जिनमें से एक सर नदीम रसूल है. सो डू कन्वे माई थैंक्स टू हिम. आई एम रियली happy that I am his student. He was absolutely wonderful as a teacher for ad maths and for A-level maths, and I wish him all the best. I would love to reconnect. ठीक है. All right. आपकी वर्कशीट में पेपर 4 के क्वेश्चन है. Yes, paper 4 for IGCSE and paper 2 for maths. Yes. G Ali, in A-levels I had for some reason I had 9 subjects. It was very stupid of me, and one of those was further maths. Voided seeker, I'm not ignoring you. I need to look at your question. Question नहीं समझ आ रहा. How was hydrogen gas produced and what were the names of ABCD? Okay, let's see. So in this question, this is acid. So there's 2 kinds of questions here. One is for the acid part and one is for the organic acid part. So the acid part reacts with magnesium and it produces hydrogen gas, and magnesium plus 2 and this whole thing with -1. That is the salt that you get. Similarly, with magnesium carbonate, what do acids do with carbonates? They produce carbon dioxide, water, and salt. So magnesium butanoate and carbon dioxide and water. Okay, that's how we get. Do we need to know about alanine and glycine? Not really. You just need to be able to draw them. अगर वो आपसे उसका structure बोलता है, या आपको वो बोलेगा कि ये structure है और इसको use करो. So you do remove copy join, but you will not need to memorize के alanine and glycine क्या होते हैं. What's the difference between displayed formula and structure formula? Displayed formula is this one. It shows all the bonds. It displays everything. And structural formula is this one, which just talks about कि ये carbon है, इसके साथ ये joined है, and then this carbon, and this is what joined to that, and then the next of it. Okay, next question. Salt analysis याद नहीं हो रहा, याद नहीं करना है salt analysis. उसकी एक simple सी video है, याद ही करना है. But there is a simple way of memorizing it. I have already uploaded it. जो 2024 की playlist है ना, crash course chemistry की मेरे channel पे. Go through that. जो भी topic चाहिए, just search that in that playlist and you'll get it. छोटी छोटी 6, 7, 8 मिनट की videos हैं वो. Okay. Next question. Should we know about alanine? I've already answered that question. Substances dissociate completely that are strong acids. Okay. Can we write alkanoic acid? I have not used that term in like forever. Take care. So I would not suggest that. Carboxylic acid is good. Why do you want to write alkanols and alkanoic acids? I've never used this, right? Ahmed, you're doing 6 subjects. All the best. All the best. Okay. Yes, crazy cousin is for the salts that are, I think, insoluble in sodium these are the cations that are insoluble in excess. So crazy is chromium, aluminum, zinc. Okay, chromium, aluminum, zinc, and cousin is copper and zinc. These are the ones that are insoluble in that are soluble in excess. ठीक है, तो हमारे पास these are soluble in excess of sodium hydroxide and these are soluble in excess of ammonia. Okay. Reaction के color कैसे याद करें? Again, go through the syllabus or the fact sheet and you will know it. Okay. Can we show displayed formula instead of structure? अगर वो आपसे कहता है show all the bonds, you must write displayed formula. But अगर वो आपसे कहता है just draw the structure या show the structure, you can pick either one. Okay. When writing a structure formula, do we need to use the symbol for double bonds when writing? Not necessarily. For propene, for example, you can just write CH3, CH, CH2, or if you want, you can write CH3, CH, double bond CH2. Both are acceptable. You don't need to write them extra. I have no idea what you're saying, Tala. Organic and metals की practice करा दें. Organic and metals की practice very simple सी है. अगर आपके पास organic acid है, it will react with metals. So for example, अगर मेरे पास propanoic acid ले लेते हैं. So this is the one, and if this reacts with, let's suppose, sodium. So sodium के साथ react करेगा. This hydrogen will go away, create hydrogen gas, and you will get whatever is left. So CH3, CH2, COO, Na. That's what you get. अच्छा, एक और काम करते हैं. इसको magnesium से react कराते हैं. So this thing reacting with magnesium. So again hydrogen gas plus ये पूरी की पूरी चीज, but there's 2 of them. So CH3, CH2, COO, 2 Mg. Again, this is nothing new. What you have is the charge on this thing and the charge on this thing and cross multiplication, and that's what you have it. कौन से साल का पेपर करूं? किसी साल का पेपर नहीं करना. 10 क्वेश्चन मैंने आपको यहाँ पे डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिखे हुए हैं. Just pick those and use them. Fact sheet में organic के notes हैं. This should be there, but if there's a question, just text me. Okay. When given the partial structure of polymer and asked to draw the structure of the monomer, what are we supposed to do? So that's a very good question. If you are given a partial structure of a polymer, let's suppose you are given this. You have a box, you have this, and another box, and you have this, and for some reason they're like, okay, draw the compound. Okay, although usually ऐसा नहीं होता है, but let's suppose ये है. Break the bond from the middle, दोनों sides से. So हमारे पास अगर ये था, so break it from here, from here, from here. This is your first monomer, this is your second monomer. Okay, so I'll just pick that. This is your first monomer. This is your repeating unit. Now how do I complete it? AH and OH on both sides. Both sides should have AH and OH. So यहाँ पे H लग जाएगा, यहाँ पे OH लग जाएगा, and this is my monomer. Okay? अच्छा, अगर हमारे पास addition polymer है तो क्या करेंगे? अगर हमारे पास addition polymer है like this, we saw this question in the beginning of this topic today. वो कहते हैं इसका monomer बनाए. So just pick the repeating unit again and add the double bond. Copy it and add the double bond. And that is how you write this. Is there a possibility that these questions you have in description can come? Again, these are all the questions from past papers, all the most difficult questions for the last 4 years. So of course, इसी तरह के question आते हैं. Of course, सारे के सारे इस तरह के नहीं आएंगे. There will be some questions that are difficult, some that are easy. Displayed formula में magnesium कहाँ connect होगा? Don't connect magnesium. It's an ionic compound. Okay, so do not connect it. Only take the part that is negative, and magnesium is the positive part that's connected with that. Electrolysis की एक summary. Electrolysis is a big topic, so okay, I'll try to go through that. Electrolysis के products कैसे आप पता करते हो? You have to know that at the cation, जो आपके पास कैथोड है ना, कैथोड का रिएक्शन हमेशा सबसे इजी होगा. सो गो फॉर दैट आफ्टरवर्ड्स. सो सबसे पहले वट एवर कॉम्पाउंड यू हैव, यू स्टार्ट विद द एनोड. एनोड में आपके पास 3 ऑप्शन है. ठीक है, अगर तो एनोड रिएक्टिव है, ठीक है, फर्स्ट ऑप्शन रिएक्टिव एनोड, इट विल डिसॉल्व. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल कॉपर है तो इट विल मेक कॉपर आयंस. सिल्वर है, सिल्वर आयंस. अगर तो रिएक्टिव एनोड है. अगर ग्रेफाइट है या प्लैटिनम है, रिएक्टिव नहीं है, तो सेकंड स्टेप यू लुक एट इज इट कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड. ठीक है, कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड सॉल्यूशन में आपके पास हेलोजन जो है इट विल डिस्चार्ज. सो फॉर एग्जांपल you have chloride, it will make chlorine. You have bromide, it will make bromine. Obviously they will lose electrons in the process and you're good. Number 3, अगर concentrated नहीं है, dilute है, then you just have hydroxide coming out. So आपके पास oxygen plus 2 water plus 4 electrons. This is the equation every time it is dilute. Okay. Fourth option is molten. So जो भी molten का anion होगा, it will create whatever the product is. ठीक है, these are the only 4 possibilities for anode. अच्छा, अगर आपके पास कैथोड है, so कैथोड पे जो भी less reactive होगा, least reactive cation, उसका discharge हो जाना है. It doesn't matter कि concentrated है, dilute है, क्या है. And this is the summary of electrolysis. Okay. I would, it doesn't matter whether it's electroplating, it doesn't matter whether it's concentrated, dilute, whatever. ये हमारे पास 4 चीजें हैं जो हमें आनी चाहिए. Take a screenshot, you're good. Okay. Reactive electrode में क्या होता है? Graphite and platinum, इनके अलावा सब reactive है. So magnesium, copper, silver, zinc, ये सारे reactive anode हैं. Okay, practice करनी है इसकी. Yeah, let's do that. So let's pick a case. हमारे पास है copper electrodes with copper chloride molten. बना के दो, क्या होगा? molten है लेकिन reactive anode है, तो ये स्टेप होगा. reactive anode, it doesn't matter क्या हो रहा है, पहले नंबर पे reactive anode है. So at the anode, copper will dissolve, make copper ions plus 2 electrons. At the cathode, आपके पास molten है, तो इसका मतलब है सिर्फ copper cations है, तो copper is the one that is gonna go and make copper metal by taking 2 electrons. अच्छा, अब इसको चेंज करते हैं. हमारे पास copper chloride concentrated है, but we still have copper electrodes. So again, first step क्या है? Reactive anode. So copper is the one that's gonna go. It will dissolve. तो anode पे तो ये reaction होगा. Cathode पे क्या होगा? आपके पास concentrated है, तो cathode पे आपने सिर्फ ये देखना कि कौन कौन से ions है मेरे पास. मेरे पास hydrogen ion होगा, मेरे पास copper ion होगा. कौन सा less reactive है? Copper. So copper is the one that's gonna discharge. अच्छा, अब इसको change करते हैं. Let's suppose we take graphite electrodes, carbon electrodes, but copper chloride हमारे पास एक्वस है, वो आपसे डाइल्यूट या उसका बोलेगा ही नहीं. ठीक है, सो लेट्स सपोज एक्वस कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड है. चलो ये ले, ऐसे कर लेते हैं. अब क्या होगा? हमारे पास रिएक्टिव एनोड तो नहीं है, तो ये नहीं होगा. कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड है, यस, तो हेलोजन डिस्चार्ज होगा. तो हेलोजन है तो क्लोराइड विल डिस्चार्ज, it will produce chlorine plus 2 electrons, and copper and hydrogen, इन दोनों के बीच में से आपने देखना है. So least reactive is copper, cathode पे वो जाएगा. So copper is going to take 2 electrons and make copper metal. इसको चेंज करते हैं. Let's suppose हमारे पास concentrated zinc chloride आ जाता है, ठीक है. अब इसको क्या करेंगे? सबसे पहले देखना है एनोड जो है, इज इट रिएक्टिव? एनोड इज नॉट रिएक्टिव, सो वी मूव फॉरवर्ड. Is it concentrated solution? Yes. So we take halogen. So chloride will make chlorine and 2 electrons, and this is what's happening at the anode. At the cathode, you just look at which is which is less reactive. So zinc ions and hydrogen ions. Clearly, hydrogen is the one that is less reactive. So hydrogen is the one that is going to go to make hydrogen gas, and you are good. So this is how you do the electrolysis question, and these are the 4 cases of electrolysis. Okay, and this is what you need to do. All right. If the anion is sulfite and the solution is concentrated, that is not in your syllabus in IGCSE and all of it. Don't worry about it, because that requires using Nernst equation and figuring out the electrode potential, which we don't need to go into. उनकी प्रैक्टिस करवाएं जो डिस्क्रिप्शन में है. आई डिड डू अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस, बट द रेस्ट ऑफ देम आई वुड सजेस्ट मार्क्स टीम देख लो. यू आर गुड, ऑल ऑफ देम आर देयर. ओके, ऑलराइट, आई होप दैट हेल्प्स. Varsha, will you take a Zoom class? I will not be able to take a Zoom class today. Can we write numbers like 4 instead of 4? Depends where you're writing. If you're writing in the formula for ionic compounds, write Roman numbers. If you're writing in balancing equation, write the number, not the name. So yeah, I would suggest that. Alright, so I think that is it for today. Ammonia के reaction बता दें. Ammonia is a base, so it will react with any acid to make salt. So अगर ammonia है with HCl, it will produce ammonium chloride. Ammonia है with H2SO4, then it will produce ammonium sulfate, which means ammonium sulfate, and that's basically what ammonia does. That's the only reaction for ammonia. Should we know the uses of plastic? I mean, generally yes, but specifically किसी plastic के, I don't think so. Alright guys, I have to go, so yeah, I would suggest go to the fact sheet, and if you have any questions, feel free to text me. I will be happy to help, but it's 8:31 here. I have to leave. And yeah, thank you so much. All the very best for your exam. Do the question in the description, go through the fact sheet, and talk to a friend so that you can test each other on whether you memorize or not. But most importantly, सुबह नाश्ता करके जाना है, रात को सुकून की नींद लेके जाना है. It's very important that you're fresh. And yeah, I have to leave, and thank you so much and good luck. See you in the next paper whenever we have it, and yeah, all the very best. Allah Hafiz.